YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV, and today we're going to have another look at the Mars InSight mission. I've got the main mission page here, so if you want to download any of these images, there will be a link below to this page, and you can just click on that and download any of these. They're not very big, they're quite small 1 megapixel images, and there's quite a few of them now. There's about 140 something, 145, yeah. And basically, what I've done is I've downloaded all these and I've made a lot of them into a gigapan. I've stitched them together using Image Composite Editor. Now, if any of you have my free mobile app, there is a link to this, a free download of this. It's completely free. If you haven't got my mobile app, there is a link below in the description and you can link to it through there, okay? So you can see where I've made the gigapan here. I've stitched the images together. So without further ado, let's have a look at what I've got. Now, I've got it up in my graphics processor here, just to make it easier, because the interesting stuff, as usual, is on the ground. The image quality is pretty poor. Now, a lot of people have complained to me and others about the terrible image quality, and basically the camera is no better than the camera that was on the Viking 1 lander in 1976. It's no better than that. In fact, in some ways, it's probably worse. The point of this lander is not really to take loads of photographs. It's really an operation to listen underground and listen to what's going on Mars and listen out for things like earthquakes and meteor strikes, that kind of thing, and take temperature readings and that kind of thing. So really the camera is just a working science camera. It's not really designed to take amazing pictures. So there's not a lot over this end. There's just a pile of rocks here. There is this thing at the bottom. Now, this looks to me like an animal cranium. You've got, I'm just sharpening it here just to bring out some of the detail. You've got an eye there. You've got an eye socket here. You've got a nose and what looks like a mouth here when you sharpen it. It's pretty vague, and a lot of this stuff is really vague, okay? Now, what I tend to do when I make a gigapan, I just go over things and sharpen them up a bit, just to see if there's anything in there, any detail in there that may give away a bit more information, okay? And then what I do, if it's something interesting, I'll take a clip of it and then enhance it. So there will be lots of clips of these things in at the end of the video, so you can take screenshots and have a proper look at these things. There was also this thing which I highlighted in the previous video, which looks rather like a dinosaur or a turtle or some kind of creature with a beak. I'll show you more on that in a minute. I've done some clips of that. As I've shown before with some of the other missions on Mars, not everything is a rock on Mars. There are fossils and interesting objects all over the place. And this can be demonstrated not only in the Viking images, but also the Curiosity images especially, and the Opportunity rover images, and also the Spirit images, including 1 or 2 other missions as well. So all of the missions that have landed on Mars so far have spotted, or at least researchers like me have spotted, interesting things on the ground, mainly things like fossils and objects, but also buildings as well in the background. So there was this thing, I don't know what this is, but it's really odd. I'll show you a close-up of this in a minute. It's got like it almost looks like it's got 2 legs and 2 arms and a head, but it's not. It just looks like that. I don't know what it is, but it's very odd. I'll show you some more on that in a minute. We've got a little mound in the background here. There is this that looks like another cranium here, very oddly shaped, but not dissimilar to some that I've found before and other people. It's very round. And you've got what look like 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth there, okay? Now this is a raw image. This has just been stitched together. I haven't done anything to this. I haven't added anything to it. And you will see this. This comes up in a whole bunch of images. If you download the images from the main page, you'll see it, okay? So more on that in a minute. there was this one here. Now, this is really, really vague, and some of this stuff is so vague, you really can't see anything. But this has got a row of teeth, this thing here. Now, this may well be a rock, of course, but why would it have a row of teeth? As you can see there, when you sharpen it up, you can see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 or 6 teeth there, equally spaced. So this may also be a cranium, but it's so vague, you really can't work out what it is. But why would a rock have a bunch of teeth like that? So the image quality is so poor. I mean, look at that. I mean, the lighting isn't great, of course, but we're also looking at objects that are covered in dust and everything's kind of the same colour. And the fact that NASA have used the infamous orange puke filter on the images as well doesn't help, because that blends everything together, makes it kind of monochrome, and different coloured objects don't really stand out because it's all been given an orange filter. So that's why they use it. It's all about plausible deniability. Not only do they give us poor quality, low-res images, which are very blurry and out of focus a lot of the time, but the filter makes everything look flat and the same colour. It's very hard to pick things out. But of course, I've been doing this for many years now, and looking at these images from Mars, and I know how to get around that. So also up here, there was a couple of objects here. I don't know what these are. These are probably just rocks, but this is rather odd, this one here, because it has something stuck to the side of it there, a white object, and it looks pretty square, this part. There's a rectangular part to it here. It's got some texture on top. So I don't know what that is, and these here are probably just rocks. Can't really make them out, they're so blurred. So I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, what I think this is, this mound, is the parachute from the InSight. Now, when the InSight came down to land, obviously they deployed it with a heat shield, and it kind of skipped, well, it didn't skip, it kind of went into the atmosphere at an angle. And then when it got to a certain height, the heat shield was ejected and the parachute deployed. And then when it got to a few hundred feet above the ground, I think, I don't know exactly, I haven't looked it up, the parachute was ejected, and the retro rockets came on as it came in to slow it right down before it landed, okay? And this may, I'm not saying it is, this may just be here, part of the parachute. Now, whether it is or not, I couldn't say, because it's so blurry that you can't see any detail. But there is a box thing here, just here. You can see that object there? That, I think, may be part of it. So this may be, or maybe not, I don't know. And it's a bit out of range, out of view range, and it's very, very blurred. And because the camera isn't focused on the background here, it looks very poor, but that to me looks like it could be. And when you enhance it, it kind of stands out a bit more. I'll show you some more on that in a minute. So that was a quick overview. And what I'll do with this Gigapan is I'll put it on my Facebook group for you. So if you want to download the Gigapan for free, of course, to come to Mars Magazine, ArtAlienTV Mars Magazine on Facebook. And what I'll do, when this video comes out, I'll put the image at the top of the page and you can download it, okay? So that's all cool. And there's also a couple of other videos I've done on InSight recently. There's a couple here. Now in this one I showed what looked like a couple of UFOs, but actually the one I showed on the left of the image, which is a black kind of object, is not a UFO. It's actually a dead pixel. And I'll show you that in a second. As for the other one, I'm not so sure, because that light-coloured object here is totally different. But the black object that was spotted is actually in a whole bunch of images now. And now that we have more images, I've managed to work out that that is actually a dead pixel or damaged pixel, okay? I'll also link you to this page. You've got a couple of things. It's a little InSight's first selfie here. It's not very good quality, but it's worth a look. You know, it's been stitched together quite poorly, and I'll show you that in a minute. So there's plenty of things to download and have a look at, okay? But without further ado, let's have a look at the clips, because this will take a long time otherwise. Now I'm quickly going to flick through these, and what I'll do is I'll put them all in at the end of the video like I normally do, so you can take screenshots and have a proper close look at some of these things, and I'll show the raw image, then the enhanced image, just to show that I haven't really enhanced these very much at all. I've just brightened them up and added a blue colour filter to make them easier to look at, okay? So yeah, the first thing was this. There was this rather strange thing with some square parts to it. Don't know what it is. It looks like a bit of wreckage or something. You've got this square part here. Zoom in a little bit. You've got a square part here, another square part here. And this looks rather odd. I have no idea what that is. Answers on a postcard, but some of you space detectives out there may have a better idea what these things are. I'm not going to show you everything I've got here now, because some of these things are really vague and weird, and I can't really work them out. This was weird because this thing here seems to have teeth here, a row of teeth, and a sort of weird part sticking out here. And if you look carefully, you can see what looks like an eye here and an eye here, and a row of rather odd misshapen teeth here, and what looks like a jawbone underneath. Very odd. May not be, of course. This may be completely natural, but why would something like that have a kind of square thing attached to it coming out the side? It's really odd. I've no idea what this is, really. And if you look carefully, you can see what looks like a couple of chain links here. You've got one here and another one passing through it here. Now, that may just be an optical illusion, don't know. Hard to say when you have objects like this at low res, but this is actually really close to the camera and is in pretty good detail. This is one of the sharper objects that I found, because it's right up close to the InSight, and the camera got really close to it. So there was that. Don't know what it is, but interesting. This is weird. Here's the enhanced clip. I've really brightened that up. You've got what looks like another cranium here. It's very odd. Now, do bear in mind that because they're low-res images, they're quite pixelated, so things tend to look a little bit blocky, and things kind of look a bit like they're made of Lego because of the way the pixels are kind of joined up here, and things kind of look very zigzaggy and blocky. So in reality, these things are probably a little bit more rounded and smoother and not quite as angular as they look, okay? So bear that in mind when you're zooming into low-res images, because things do pixelate. So we've got a weird object there, don't know what that is. It's got some strange parts to it there. But this thing looks like, to me, I don't know, but to me, these look like two eye sockets here. And this looks like a nose, this looks like a mouth, and this looks like an ear hanging down like a dog. Or something similar. Really, really strange. So I'll put that in at the end again. Here's the one I showed in a previous video. This to me looks like some kind of dinosaur, or a turtle, or some kind of reptilian creature. Okay, this thing here. Is this size of this? I would say probably about 6 or 7 inches, or less. Okay, so not very big. You've got a weird thing here and a weird thing here. Now, when you see the enhancement, I've added quite a lot of contrast to that, and it's brought out this circular part which looks like an eye, and this looks like a beak coming round. You can actually see it comes round like this, and there's a lower part to it, and what looks a bit like a tooth or something sticking up just there. Okay, so we've got an upper part to the beak and a lower part by the looks of it. Very interesting. And this thing is weird because it's got this weird zigzaggy pattern on the side of it. Don't know what that is at all. I'd like to see that from the other angle, really, but I don't know if we ever will. Or at least a close-up would be nice. But we may do. I mean, the camera, it does have a zoom on it. I don't know how powerful the zoom is on this particular camera. I doubt it's as powerful as the one on the Curiosity rover. But these things aren't very far away, so you don't have to zoom in very much. Okay, so there was that, and it reminded me of this. I pulled up an image here. Now, I'm not saying it is one of these, I'm just saying it looks a bit like one of these. It's more turtle-like, I would say, than this, but this is a Psittacosaurus, however you say that, otherwise known as the parrot lizard, okay, with a beak. Is it possible there were dinosaurs on Mars? Yes, because actually I found quite a few remains of dinosaur craniums and bones. So yes, there were, including footprints, very large footprints. Okay, so it's all very well being skeptical out there. That's perfectly cool, but a lot of these things have been found. Very similar things to this have been found, including birds, dinosaurs, all manner of mammals, including many ape-like creatures and things like that. I'm just going through the main things I've got here. There was this thing there. This is really weird. I have no idea what this is at all. Some of you out there may have a better idea, but this, to me, has got some very strange symmetry to it here. You've got this triangular part that comes down. Behind it, there's another matching part here. It's behind that, okay? So you've got a triangular part there, and it seems to be another bit behind it. So there's symmetry there. You've got a very straight part to it here, and it comes around. This almost looks like a limb here, like a leg sticking down here. It's really strange. Let's look at the raw clip of that, just to confirm it. The raw image is very dark, but you can see it. You can see it quite well. Let's go back to that. I don't know what that is. I'll put a clip of that in at the end in a minute as well. Maybe some of you could help me with this one. I really don't know what it is. It looks very interesting, and we may get some better shots of this. It's not particularly far away, so this should keep turning up in upcoming images. We may get some clearer, brighter shots of this, and maybe able to work out what it is, but it's very odd. So I don't know what it is. There's also this rather funny little thing up here, which seems to have a mouth. What the hell is that? Honestly, I mean, some of these things are so weird. It's very much like some of the stuff you see in Gale Crater. You see craniums and odd objects lying around all over the place. There's this thing that looks like another rather round cranium here. I mean, it may just be a rock and just happens to have two eyes, a nose and a mouth in exactly the right place, but I used to think that, but I found so many craniums now, hundreds and hundreds on Mars, going right back to the early Viking images, right up to recent images taken. So these things like this have been found for decades and decades now on Mars. Yet people, the pareidolia police, still come along saying, oh, you're just seeing things. No, they're in the images. These are real images taken on another planet. And yes, sometimes they censor the images, sometimes they deliberately blur stuff out, sometimes they cover things up with fake sand. They copy and paste bits of sand over things, but most of the images are as they were taken. Here's that thing that looks like the parachute with a box here, like a little box thing. Doesn't get very clear, it's very blurry, but it's a very different colour to the surroundings. So it may well be. Okay, so there was that. There's this thing here, which kind of looks like it's got two arms and legs, but it's not. It's joined to this thing. I don't know what it is. Absolutely no idea. But it's interesting. It doesn't look like an average kind of shaped rock. It's got a flat piece to the top here, which is almost a square part. You've got like a little arm coming around there. It's very odd. It's got a symmetry to it. A definite symmetry going on there. So who knows what that is? If any of you have an idea, please comment below, because I'm struggling with some of this stuff. It is rather strange. A lot of them may just be rocks that have eroded in a rather strange way from wind erosion. There is this block thing here. Really odd. It's got this kind of thing stuck to the side of it, something bright there. But when you look carefully, it's got some weird things on top of it. Very odd indeed. There's like little round things on top of it there. So don't know what that is, but as I said before, we should hopefully get lots of images of these things in the coming weeks, and hopefully closer and clearer images. Here's that rather strange thing with loads of teeth on it. A row of teeth there. Don't know what it is. Not clear enough to tell either way, really. So that was about it. I think there's one or two things that I may have missed here, and what I'll do is I'll put them in at the end for you to have a look at. That was about it. Here's the selfie, and it looks fine until you zoom in, as all these images do. And there's bits of missing data here, where they've stitched the images together, and we're missing the sort of edge of this solar panel here. It's been cropped off there where it doesn't quite match up. But this gives you a good idea anyway of what the thing looks like. You've got the feet sticking down here with springs, shock absorbers. So see, what would have happened when this came down is that the jet wash would have kind of blown some of this sand and crap away, uncovering some of the objects we're looking at. So a lot of the things we're looking at may have been largely covered in sand and dust. And as this came in, the jet wash would have kind of blown a lot of dust up and disturbed it all, and uncovered some of these smaller objects that may have been buried for many millions of years. Don't know. But that's pretty cool. You've got some pretty good detail there. You can have a look at all the instruments and stuff. So there will be links to all these, and you can download them yourself and have a look. I've just brightened this up a bit just to make it easier to look at. But it gives you some pretty good detail of the actual InSight lander itself and the various parts to it, antennae and stuff like that. Okay, there we are. So I'll link to the main mission page with all the images, and if you want to download image composite editor like I've got here, you can find that on the research page on my free app, which will also be available in a link below. You can either use that on your desktop or on your tablet or mobile device, whatever. There's different versions of it you can download. So there we are, that was about it really. So I'm sure the Pareidolia police will attack me yet again for finding things that aren't supposed to be there, but I didn't put these things here. I'm only showing what's there. I don't deliberately try and find certain things. I just look at the images and see what's in them. I let the research push me, I do not push the research. The images tell me what's in them, not the other way around, okay? Which is the proper way to do things. So that was about it, really. As I said, you can come to ArtAlienTV Mars Magazine. You can download my app here as well, if you like. You can download it by clicking on this link here. And the panoramic image will also be near the top of the page as well, so you can download that for free. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you soon.